A brilliant young human woman named Laura Bennett works as a cultural ambassador aboard an intergalactic research station where humans are still considered a curious, newcomer species among the galactic community. The story opens with Laura preparing for a routine diplomatic meeting when she encounters Zarathel, a striking alien dignitary from the advanced Valoran Empire, whose people are known for their cold logic and emotional restraint. Despite their vastly different backgrounds, Laura and Zarathel find themselves drawn to each other during late-night conversations in the observation deck, where they share perspectives on art, philosophy, and what it means to feel deeply. Zarathel reveals that her people once experienced emotions intensely, but genetically modified themselves centuries ago to achieve perfect rationality, something she increasingly questions after meeting Laura. When a mysterious energy anomaly threatens the station, Laura's quick thinking and emotional intuition help solve the crisis in ways the logical alien minds could not predict. Earning her widespread respect, Zarathel begins secretly experiencing forbidden emotional awakening and confides only in Laura, creating an intimate bond that transcends species boundaries. Laura discovers that many young Valorans are questioning their emotionless existence and starting an underground movement to restore their capacity for feeling. Together, they must navigate the dangerous political waters between those who want to maintain Valoran tradition and those seeking change, while their personal connection deepens into something neither species has protocol for. The climax involves Laura testifying before the Valoran High Council about the strength humans gain from emotion, not weakness, as Zarathel risks everything by publicly choosing to undergo the reversal procedure. The story ends with Zarathel experiencing her first tears while watching Earth rise over the station viewport alongside Laura, symbolizing a new chapter for both their peoples and their relationship. The narrative celebrates human emotional resilience and capacity for connection as strengths that alien civilizations might actually envy rather than dismiss. Complete story. The observation deck hummed with the quiet sound of recycled air as Laura Bennett pressed her forehead against the cool, transparent aluminum window and stared at the swirling nebula beyond, wondering not for the first time if she had made the right choice leaving Earth for this assignment aboard Meridian Station. She was only 26, but already humanity's youngest cultural ambassador, a position that sounded impressive until you realized it mostly meant explaining to confused aliens why humans cried at sad movies or laughed at things that were not logically amusing. The door whispered open behind her, and she turned to see the one being on the station who truly puzzled her. A tall, elegant figure with skin that shimmered like mother of pearl and eyes that held the depth of twin galaxies. Zarathel moved with the fluid grace that all Valorans possessed, her long silver hair floating slightly as if underwater, and when she spoke her voice carried the melodic quality of wind chimes. "You are here again," she said. It was not quite a question. Laura smiled even though she knew Valorans did not really understand the gesture. "Yeah, I come here when I need to think. Thinking is a solitary activity," Zarathel observed, moving to stand beside her at the window. "Yet you seem to prefer this location when others might also arrive." "Maybe I am hoping for company," Laura admitted. "Or maybe I just like the view." The Valoran tilted her head in that characteristic way that meant she was processing something that did not quite fit her logical framework. "Your species often says one thing while meaning another. This is inefficient," Laura laughed softly. "Maybe. But it is also what makes us interesting." "Interesting?" Zarathel repeated the word as if tasting it. "Yes, you are that." They stood in comfortable silence watching the nebula's colors shift and dance, and Laura found herself thinking about how many nights they had spent exactly like this over the past 3 months, since Zarathel had arrived as part of the Valoran diplomatic corps. "What do you see when you look out there?" Laura asked suddenly. "I see hydrogen and helium excited by radiation from dying stars. I see the mathematical precision of gravitational forces. I see the predictable outcome of stellar evolution." Zarathel's answer came quickly and completely. Laura nodded slowly. "I see beauty. I see mystery. I see a reminder that we are all made of stardust and connected to something bigger than ourselves." Zarathel was quiet for a long moment before speaking again, her voice softer than usual. "I'm beginning to suspect that my people lost something important when we chose to eliminate emotional processing from our biology." This was new, and Laura turned to look at the alien woman with surprise. "You have never said anything like that before?" "I have never thought it before," Zarathel admitted. but spending time with you and other humans has created questions I cannot answer with logic alone. Over the following weeks, their friendship deepened into something neither of them had words for. Laura found herself thinking about Zarathel at odd moments during the day, and seeking her out whenever possible, while the Valoran began experiencing strange sensations she could not categorize, a warmth in her chest when Laura smiled, an uncomfortable tightness when they were apart. Then came the night the station's alarm screamed to life, and everyone rushed to emergency stations as a massive energy wave of unknown origin barreled toward them through space. The science teams worked, frantically running calculations and simulations while the station's AI predicted complete systems failure in less than 2 hours. Every logical solution they proposed came up insufficient. Against the raw, chaotic power of the approaching phenomenon, Laura stood in the command center feeling useless as brilliant minds from a dozen species argued over mathematical models and probability matrices. She watched the main screen showing the churning mass of energy getting closer and felt something in her gut, an instinct that had nothing to do with data. She interrupted the debate with a suggestion so illogical that half the room dismissed it immediately. What if we do not try to block it or redirect it? What if we harmonize with it instead? Explain. The station commander demanded. Laura pulled up a sound file of human music, specifically a song her grandmother used to sing to her. When you have two waves meeting, you can either let them crash destructively, or you can sync them to amplify constructively. What if this energy is not attacking us but just passing through, and we are in the way because we are on the wrong frequency? The Valoran chief scientist began to object, but Zarathel stepped forward with an urgency that surprised everyone who knew her species' usual calm demeanor. She speaks of resonance. If we adjust our shields to pulse in harmony with the energy wave's frequency, we might pass through it unharmed. It is not logical, but neither is the wave itself. With only minutes to spare, they implemented Laura's intuitive solution, modulating the station's defensive systems to match the rhythm she hummed from her grandmother's lullaby. And when the energy wave hit them, the station rang like a bell but held firm, shaking but intact as the phenomenon washed over them and continued on into deep space. In the aftermath, Laura found herself pulled into a tight embrace by Zarathel, who was trembling in a way Valorans were not supposed to be capable of. "You saved us," the alien woman whispered. "Your illogical emotional intuition saved us when all our logic failed." Laura hugged her back, feeling the rapid beat of Zarathel's dual hearts. "We saved us. We worked together." That night marked a turning point as Zarathel confessed to Laura that she had been secretly researching the ancient Valoran genetic modifications and discovered they were not permanent but reversible, a fact her government had suppressed for generations. "There are others like me," she explained as they sat together in her quarters. "Young Valorans who wonder what we gave up in exchange for pure logic, who read the old texts about our ancestors who created art and music and loved deeply. We have formed a group seeking to restore what was taken from us." Laura listened with growing excitement and concern. "That sounds dangerous. What would happen if your government found out?" Zarathel's expression was difficult to read, but Laura had learned to see the subtle signs of emotion breaking through. "They would consider us defective and terminate our positions, possibly even our lives. But I can no longer accept a half-existence when I have seen what wholeness looks like through knowing you." The words hung between them, charged with meaning that transcended species boundaries, and Laura reached out to take Zarathel's hand. And gesture the Valoran had learned meant comfort and connection. The situation came to a crisis point when Zarathel's underground movement was discovered, and she was summoned to appear before the Valoran High Council to face charges of promoting genetic deviance and emotional corruption. Laura insisted on accompanying her as a witness and character reference, using her position as cultural ambassador to gain access to the hearing. Despite strong objections from the Valoran authorities, standing before the imposing council of 12 perfectly logical beings, Laura gave the most important speech of her life, defending not just Zarathel but the entire concept of emotion as strength rather than weakness. "You look at humanity and see chaos," she told them. "You see inefficiency and illogic, but what you call weakness has made us survivors. Our emotions drive us to protect those we love, to create beauty in dark times, to hope when logic says there is none.